Good morning. How are you? I'm doing very well. I am Grady on the charts. Welcome to my live stream this morning. We are again trading the NASDAQ. I hope you guys like this channel. I hope you subscribe. Um, and I hope you guys get a little bit of either entertainment or education from this. Now, trading is a very difficult thing to do. Please be extremely careful. Please be extremely careful in the markets. We have news coming out this morning. And let's see what we have. We have news coming out this morning. And we have ISM PMI for April. Let's take a quick look at this. The ISM Services PMI fell sharply to 50.8 in March of 2025 from February, which was 53.5. Okay. So now that's where we stand as of this morning. Um, what I mean is, sorry, excuse me, air bubble. What I mean is we have news coming out particular um for this particular calendar event, and it's coming out at 10 a.m., which is probably going to be about 30 minutes after the open. So we're waiting to see what the news is. The new news is. So we're waiting to see what the news is. But last month, this is where we were standing. And it says also supplier deliveries eased 50.6 versus 53.4, and backlog of orders indicated contraction for the seventh time in the last 8 months, 47.4 versus 51.7. Meanwhile, production rose faster, 55.9 versus 54.4, and price pressures eased 60.9 versus 62.6. There's been a significant increase this month in the number of respondents reporting cost increases due to tariff activity. Despite an increase in comments on tariff impacts and continued concerns over potential tariffs and declining government spending, there was a close balance. There was a close balance in near-term sentiment, and that's Steve Miller, chair of the ISM Services Bureau's Business Survey Committee, and that's what he said from the Institute of Supply Management. And that was last month's report. This month's report is about to pop in roughly 45 minutes or so. And we're going to take a look at that when it does come out. That's 10 a.m. EST, I'm assuming. Right. Yeah, that's UCT 4, UTC 4. Okay. So, in the next few minutes, I think we have some Canadian news coming out, and then maybe some lower um, caliber news for S&P Global Services PMI for April. Okay, so I don't have it here as high impact news, but it seems like maybe it's just going to come out together. Maybe they're going to come out together. Maybe that's a part of the same report. Okay, maybe that's just a part of the same report. So we'll just take a look at that. All right, it says 9:27 a.m. The market is going to open in roughly 3 minutes. We're taking a look at, excuse me, I was taking a look at this higher time frame level, and I was looking at how the market traded down from Friday's high. So this is Friday's high here, and the market traded back down um, over Sunday's session. Excuse me. So the market opened here on Sunday, and then we traded down through the Asian market. So we popped up right here, which was just a retracement back into the London and the Asian session. So from this high to this low is roughly the Asian session, and then from this high to this low is London. And as you can see, if we were to take this box and pull it forward, that this area, all of this area, is pretty much an intersection between those two ranges, the London low and the Asian low. So we ran down and we swept London, which was lower than Asia. Then we popped up above the Asian low. And then right now we're almost just consolidating right on top of it. Um, right, yeah, right along this area. We're consolidating right on top of it. This is our Asian low, and this is our London low. So we have this down close candle, which could serve us as a bullish order block. but we're going to watch to see what happens when the news comes out, because wherever we are when the news comes out, we just want to see how the market reacts to that news and what it does from that point. So going into the open, which is in 2 minutes, then we could see the market rally to a higher time frame imbalance that could be right in this area. We also have a little bit of space above here. Go to the 15-minute chart. We also have a little bit of space above this. So this is the Asia high. This is the Asian high, and this is the London high. So it's possible that we could run up above the Asian and the London high into this imbalance. But again, like I said, we just really want to wait to see what happens when the news comes out. There's 30 minutes left in the hour, 33 seconds left before the market opens. So we're just going to hop right back over here. We're going to take a look at what we have, and we're just going to um take our time today, right? We're just going to take our time. Excuse me. So I'm not sure how to get off that right now because it's kind of new. So we're just going to take our time, watch and see where the market trades, how it trades, where we trade to. Here's the midnight open. We traded above the midnight open, gap down, traded up and created an imbalance here on the hourly chart. Moved down again. Remember here we took out the Asia low and the London low. The market is open. We have this small imbalance here. So now the market is open, and so we're going to treat it accordingly. Right now, so does that mean we're going to jump in as soon as we see the first gap that we see? Does that mean that every time we see an opportunity, we're going to be aggressive with that opportunity? It does not mean that. What it means is that we're going to wait for price to develop, wait for price to mature, and we're just going to watch for the signatures and price that we need to see before we decide to get involved. And there are several signals that we're looking for and that we need to see. And without those signals, it would just not really wouldn't be necessary. Now, we could open off the open and then run, right? However, if we wanted to be a part of a move like that, then we would be looking for some pre-market levels that would support price or support a run up. We did have this sort of a move to the upside, and then we moved higher here. At first, I thought to myself, well, is that market structure shift, right? Is that a market structure shift? If it is, and it's happening pre-market, does that mean that I need to be reactive to it, try to jump on board before anything happens? Again, no. I'm still waiting and looking for the news to happen. I see how we traded into this imbalance that was set up on the hourly gap, right? So there's a gap right here. We traded right into that. We touched it, turned over, and we dropped right down. But also, ooh, let's go ahead and do this as well. Let's go ahead this as well. High time frame chart. Okay, there we go. I wasn't ready to take a trade. Okay, so yeah, there's that. So we dropped into this imbalance that we kind of set up on the lower time frame. Now, why would I mark this level out from the lower time frame? Well, there was a small gap that was created here. I believe it was created like on the 5 minute, and I brought it down to the one. We went down below it. We took out London low, traded back up above it, traded back to this level, which is roughly in the same spot as the Asia low. Moved up, tapped the Asia low from above. Then we moved up from that point, traded back in near that level. Small imbalance here on the 1 minute. Pull that forward. Just trade it down into the wick, so to this candle, the body of this down close candle. Then we moved up. Mm. Now, the I vacillate back and forth, and I'm okay with that. I vacillate back and forth, and I move back and forth between two things, right? Between two things. Seeing a trade that I want to be a part of, take off and leave. Look at this. And regretting getting involved in a trade because I believe that was what it was. And then um watching the real trade happen, right? So falling for the manipulation. So falling for the manipulation and sitting on the sidelines and saying I'm not going to be manipulated and then watching the trade, play out. Here we go. Here we go. Good things happening today, guys. Good things are happening today. And I hope that you understand that for yourself, that good things are going to happen. The harder you work, the luckier you'll get. Keep working hard. Hmm. This is the midnight opening price. I'm going to be extremely aware of this. And the reason that I want to be aware of midnight open is because, excuse me, if this is our opening price for midnight, we dropped in, we moved up, created this level, we moved down below it, and this is the beginning of Monday. And Monday began here at midnight, and we moved above that level. My consideration is the daily candle forming off that level and then moving to the upside. Now we're approaching it very quickly, excuse me. And now I also see this 5 minute chart. We drop down, we hit the down close candle, pre-market, moved up higher, turned over, straight into these two down close candles, move higher. And what is it that I'm very aware of, extremely aware of? First thing, there's going to be another bus. There's going to be another bus. Second thing, when I catch the bus, when I catch the bus, I do not want to ride the bus in the wrong direction. It gets me further from my destination. So when I finally get on the proper bus and that bus runs out of gas, I do not want to be right back where I started. So I'm taking my time. It's kind of windy and I might have dust in my eyes trying to read the label on the front of the bus. But that's the case. That's the case. There's gonna be another one. If this thing goes without me, if I get nothing today, if I get nothing to get today and I get something tomorrow, I'm going to be ahead. This is hard. This is hard for us as new traders to understand. If I just chill today, on a day if I'm feeling uncertain, or ooh, was that immediate rebalance? You see how the two candles came together and this thing turned over and dropped down and hit that? Oh man, is that immediate rebalance? I remember saying that before. And you know what happened immediately after that? The market took off from that point and went. 5 second, 15 second. See a small imbalance right here? Nah, no, I don't think so. No, couldn't possibly be. Couldn't possibly be. Oh, something's changed here. What? Oh yes, that's this is proper. This is proper. This is proper. Okay, yeah. Stop loss would be here, and then TP would be up here, and then it would be a limit, and it would be a buy order. Let's see if I misread it. I did. I misread it. Crazy part is it pulled back far enough for me to like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. But no, I misread it. Ah, that's terrible. Mm. Okay, coming back in 9:39, first 9 minutes of the day. That was actually a good trade. I think that was very good because as soon as I saw what I believe to be that immediate rebalance, as we had the overlapping wicks, we had the candle move back in. I expected us to drop back in below these two relative equal lows into that small gap. We dropped in, we popped up just a little bit. We went in profit for just a little bit. Then I held it. Yep, then I held it. It was a crazy 15-minute candle though. The wick on that 15-minute candle went all the way up to just near, just near the midnight opening price, right? Take a look here on the 15-minute candle. Just near that midnight opening price. Now, my thing is I see this imbalance and I see this imbalance and I see that we just put a long wick all the way up there into that gap. We didn't close in here anywhere. Turnover dropped all the way back down. Now we have 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in this 15-minute candle. That's a long wick. Mm, 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 mm. Turned over here. We hit the consequent encroachment of that pre-market imbalance. Move down. 2 minutes and 54 seconds left in this 15-minute candle. Took out these relative equal highs right here. We actually took out all of these short-term highs through here as well. News is coming out in 15 minutes. I'm taking my hand I'm taking my hand off of the mouse. And at this point, what I would rather see is I would rather see price begin to um spool in a particular direction and then maybe on a reaccumulation leg get involved. Mm. 1 minute and 53 seconds left in the 15-minute candle. Okay. So now we're moving right back up that 15-minute candle wick with 1 minute and 27 seconds left. And then here we are, 1 minute, 10 seconds left for this 1 minute candle. Pressing through. Six, five, four, three, two, one. Close. I see midnight open price right there. 30 seconds left in the 15-minute candle. Pushed all the way through these imbalances. We hit this up close candle. Now we're back in this area again. 15 minutes till the news comes out. And what does that mean right now? Right? What does that mean right now? That means that I don't believe that this news is gonna like rip faces. The only thing is the only thing about this news level is I would like to allow it to flex. I would like to see this news level flex before before I got involved. Okay. So then why did I take that initial trade? I took that first trade, number one, to get past the jitters, the trading jitters, right? To kind of brush that weekend staleness off, take a trade, break that ice, get that weird perfection mentality out of my head, right? If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's that's the nature of it. Um, and then I wanted to see whether or not we were going to move to a different area before news came out, right? We would make we would make a displacement to another area, and then news would react in that zone. Because we could have moved above above midnight open prior to the news, and then once news hit, we traded down, tap the opening price again, right? The midnight opening price from a higher price point, and then displaced to the upside, leaving all of this price action between the Asian session and London session, the end of Asia and the London session, as London being our wick, right? Our shadow of our candle today. So that was kind of the idea that I had. Now we bounced and we returned right to the exact same area where I placed my trade earlier. So I placed my trade right in this area as this price came down. And so we've returned to the exact same spot just a little bit later with a lower up close gap and a smaller down close gap to the left. So what I mean is this this area and then that area. All right. So there's a gap here and then there's a gap here. So this is a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, and this is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And they have found each other and they are kind of coexisting. At the same time, I'm also looking at how we have this, and if I could go look at ES, what's ES showing us here? We see the same thing on the ES, except it's a much much more exaggerated lean to the downside. But we also have, it's 9:48. We have roughly 11 minutes before the news comes out. So while we're sitting here waiting on news, what could we possibly see? Right now we see the Nasdaq making a higher high, while the ES is um Pushing up into an intermediate high. 9:49 a.m. Nope. Registration. Okay. Mr. Demo. That's really, really cool. However, how do I get rid of you? Oh, okay, I think I know what to do. So what I would do is I'd hit escape. I would do this. And then here, the thing that I would normally use, the dot or the cross or whatever, I would also put that over there. Perfect. That way, if I'm done with it, I would swap over. All right, ES failed to take its prior high at 5668.00. Relatively equal. We drop back in. Okay, we have news 9 minutes and 22 seconds. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Just dropped right back in and touched the high and balance. On the ES, we just dropped down into a down close candle. And the high of the down close candle seems to be very closely in alignment with the opening price of the previous down close candle. Let me see, mean threshold. Click, click, pull it forward. Yeah, it looks like mean threshold. We drop below 10 seconds. We close below this. It's going to be extremely bearish. Mm-hmm. There we go. We close below. It's bearish on the ES. But we still don't have news now, right? We have news coming in just a few more minutes. And this is one of the things that I struggle with prior to news is that the price begins to um, move sometimes just prior to news. And I'm thinking to myself, what, right? Panic goes off. I'm gonna miss it, right? I'm gonna miss it. If I wait and the news pops, then I'll be behind the trade and I'll be chasing the price. But the thing is I don't know which direction the news is gonna take us, right? It's not an obvious assumption that I could say, oh, I know that when news is good, it's going one way. I know if news is bad, it's going another way. But how many traders who haven't been trading for 15, 20 years would just look at the news and say, oh, that's good, right? I mean, I don't remember ever in school anybody ever telling me anything about a PMI or ISM or a CPI or non-farm payroll. I don't remember that at all. But now that we are traders, or now that we're looking at the market on a regular basis, and we say, wait a minute, these things change everything. When our parents were upset about when our parents were upset about interest rates and all of that sort of stuff, there was a real reason why the interest rates changed, why the taxes changed, why all of these things were fluctuating. Okay, so We closed below on the ES. Already closed below that prior down close candle. But my question is what did we drop down into? Right? What are we trading to? The low of this candle on the ES right now is 5655.25. That's the 5 minute candle. It's still moving up in the last 55 seconds. We have 5 minutes and 50 seconds left. Well, 5 minutes and 50 seconds left and until news. Hmm. Yeah. So right. So like the balances of trade, inflation rates, unemployment. And I know we saw these things on the news, but I don't think that even showing us this information on the news would help anybody who didn't have. You see us trading to the small imbalance right here? I have to let it go. It looks like another little TKO. Actually, comparing this to the ES, it looks like there's a small gap on the ES at 5661.75. It's just a little area where price is not completely filled. And then we pressed up past it and we're rallying. I know we have two relative equal highs here in the ES at 566800, and the price is pressing up from this point. But it seems as if we're bearish. We just traded to the opening, sorry, to the closing price of the prior 1 minute candle on the ES. Turned over and dropped back into that gap. Now, normally I don't incorporate the ES with the Nasdaq, but I realize that if I can't see where we're diverging, sometimes I'll look at the Nasdaq and I'll assume that it's a clear indication of direction that we might be going in the next few minutes. But then you look at the ES and it's completely different. And then at the same time, I say to myself, well, which one is leading, right? Which one is leading us? Is it the NASDAQ that's leading us or is it the ES that's leading us? The ES just popped above that sort of steep decline that we were seeing where prices closing lower. Mm. And we just closed above those prior two up close candles around just above 5664. As we see here on the ES, on the NASDAQ, sorry, as we see on the NASDAQ, we're closing very flat. We've been smaller wicks above this, but we closed like very flat through here. And so we'll have the news in 3 minutes, and then we'll determine what we're going to do with price at that point. Now, this is extremely interesting, and I'm not going to ignore this. It's the only thing is I'm saying to myself, what? All right, if we're looking here, if we're looking at this, how can this help us? If we're looking at this, how can this help us? This down closed candle closes below consequent encroachment. We pop up, wicks down to the discount, then we move up. How can this help us? And yes, I am still waiting on news, but we have just breached the midnight open. And upon doing so, this turned our opening price into this opening range here into bang bang, bop it bang bang, bop it bang bang, bang bang, bang bang. On my daily chart, I still see a lot of down close above this area. But now that we've traded to and above the midnight opening price, it has my full and complete and undivided attention. We have 1 minute and 45 seconds left before the news comes out. And I said it like that, so by the time we got to 145, it would be accurate. 1 minute and 28 seconds left in the 5 minute candle, and then we're coming into the end of the hour. Coming into the end of the hour. Okay, that was a small flurry of wicks here. Small flurry of wicks here. Small gap here. Quarter level. I'm measuring this down close wick and pulling it forward. Just want to see whether or not we ran to the 50% of that wick or anything like that. I don't always capture that to the properly, so you know how like this one. See how we traded up to roughly 50% of that wick, touched it, and then dropped down. So I was looking at this particular wick to see if that was going to repeat. Here we go. Last minute, 16 seconds, and we'll have the news. And then after that point, then we'll say to ourselves, hey, we know what we got going on here. The macro is fairly calm. That's what I was waiting for. 51.6. Our expectations were 50.3. Boom. Solid pump to the upside. Mm, 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 mm. So the services prices was 65.1. It was previously 60.9. Here we are above the midnight opening price. An aggressive press. The high of this candle is the high of the London session. The high, okay. Yeah. Let's go. So the high of this candle is London session high. Mhm. It's me. New hour has just opened. Small gap. Move this. High of the blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. The high of this candle has just touched the Asia high. Came right into the high of Asia, and touched it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens at 20,120.50. 20,000 here. 20,120 in that area. Let's see if we get there. Thought we would have more of an interaction at the midnight opening price. And we did. We moved above it, and then immediately, the exchange of the hour with the news, we dropped down. We closed. We closed here, just below it. We opened above it, slight wick toward it, and then we extended to the upside. Okay. So what does it mean when we come directly to the Asian session high and put in the exact price? What would that be? That's a relative equal high between right now and the Asian session high. Are we going to create that and leave it? 'Cause I know we do sometimes, right? We'll create the relative equal highs and then just move away from it. Then we'll return to it at some later date in order to take it out. But yeah, I mean, at some point, relative equal highs must be formed. Right? That's just how price does. Mm, mm, mm. Look at this 5 minute candle. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Three, two, one. Put a beautiful wick above the midnight opening price. Now we're back below it. New 5 minute candle just opened. We drop down, hit this down close candle. We pop right back up above it. All right. Did I misinterpret? Okay. If I don't feel comfortable in the next 2 seconds, I'm gonna exit. That's how that goes. It doesn't matter. I'll just have to find a new entry if I must. Yep, I gotta find a new entry. Whoa. But you see why I did that. We popped back up above the New York opening price, or the midnight opening, and traded back up to it. Oh, I have to let this thing do what it do. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. I gotta wait. I have to wait. Because, I mean, we tapped it, and I'm thinking, oh, we went above New York, came back down to it and touched it. Ta-da! Please don't right now. Please don't start consolidating right now. We get down below this gap, I would be happier trader. Pop back up. Small imbalance right here. We pop back up to the high imbalance, so we're still going. So I'm in some type of consolidation that I can't seem to mentally figure out right now. Can't seem to get it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because truly, a lot of this stuff is hilariously um kind of like, hilariously kind of like the the stop me out. Turn over. We're at that midnight opening price. Give it a couple of seconds, Grady. Give it a couple of seconds. Give it a couple of seconds. Because what we've seen here, what we've seen here, I am going to this. I'm going to buy that. And immediately it comes and stops me out. And that's fine. But why would you do that, Grady? Because look, it's balanced price range, right? My stop loss up and everything. but it's just pumping back and forth in this area, and it's just pumping back and forth in this area. Nope, that's wrong. It should be that. Drop down to this down close candle. It doesn't go past it, right? Come on, come on, come on. I'm rushing it. We came down here before, and then what did we do? We did something else. We're down into the small imbalance on the 15-second chart. This might be all I get, or we're gonna go drop down through all of this, right? Because now the survivalist scalper says just jump out anytime you get $100 or $200. Just jump out, just jump out, just jump in and jump out. So that's the panic. The panic scalper says jump in and jump out. Mm. Okay. Ah. So strangely enough, right here at the midnight open, we began to oscillate around the midnight open kind of aggressively. We had a low, then a lower low. Then we popped up and we had this high. Then we traded back into this gap and then we moved back up. On the 15-second chart, we had this high, this imbalance, this imbalance. We had this one small one here. We moved back up here multiple times and then we turned over, we dropped back into this area. Mm, mm, mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. 5 minute candles consolidating after the news. Mm. If we drop down below this level, the thought process is, oh yeah, we would if we drop down below this, it's 15-second chart. If we drop down below this level, we just be trading into the gap down below this level. So this would be a good place to buy, right? So we come down, reach down in, tap that zone. Okay. Now we run this low out, turn over. You could still be in consolidation, so I have to be. I was wanted to use the word careful, but I don't think that kind of applies to this anymore. There's another touch of the stop this out. So I was looking at this gap as we ran back in. Then we closed up here, opened here. I just took 200 trades in the last 3 seconds because we're in a consolidation. We're in a short-term consolidation, even a long, maybe even a long-term consolidation, and it's just going back and forth over this midnight opening price. And my positioning is it's like it's a decaying rise. I mean, like the lows are decaying, and every time the lows decay and it turns over and pops up, then it moves up higher, right? So there, and there. I tried to get the entry, and then it just stopped me out. Now we've popped up to the opening price, the closing price of this up close candle. We turned over. We did not take it. We closed here. Hmm. 1016. Doo 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 doo. Hmm. Hmm. Is that a market structure shift here right here? Then we dropped in to the gap, popped up. What gave me the indication that maybe to move up here? No, no real solid, nothing really solid. I was just looking at how long we've been doing this, and perhaps at the end of 15 minutes, that might have been enough to allow us to move higher. Maybe this 5 minute candle could break above these highs. It's possible. I believe, I mean, this could be a good place for price to fail as well. Just a little swan song, just push to straw push to the upside and then just turn over and dump, right? And we're gonna hold steady on our stop loss to see if it's just gonna give us a nice completion to the upside. 1 minute and 16 seconds left in the 5 minute candle. If this candle takes this high out, then that would be more convincing. Our only issue is that our entry at this point is not where we wanted it to be. The low of this 5 minute candle, it's at the opening of the 5 minute candle. which is a general place that we could see price just return to immediately after this 5 minute candle closes, even if price was going to move up. So would we exit this position? No, we got into this position and we were in profit. We have considerable amount of drawdown again, as we normally do. As we normally do, just trying to find our way into through this type of back and forth price. And it seems like one wick on the 5 minute candle right here. But it was just back and forth. It was just back and forth all at this red line here. And I tried over and over and over to get involved right here and I couldn't. So let's say we pop up here and we are basically at a relative equal high on the ES. And we kind of turn over. And let's see if we immediately move higher from this point or not. The ES is trying to give us the ES is giving us 5, 6, 7, 9, 2, 5 on the 1 minute. It looks roughly the same here on the NASDAQ on the NQ. If we can go above this level and close in the next few seconds, that would be great. What I don't like about this is, as again, I'm in a position where I really feel like I can't afford to hold the trade. But if I jumped out and it goes my way, I would be attacking myself and beating myself up for the rest of the day because I finally worked myself into a position that if only I hold, right, it could resolve, resolve itself for the rest of the day. But it's just one of those days where, Grady, you could be just looking at a very flat day, right? Where you open at midnight, you go above midnight, you go below midnight, you come back to midnight, and that's it, right? So we come back, and I'm okay with that because I have to be. I have to be okay with that. Now, down close candle into this gap. Okay. Oh, it's long wick on the 15-minute chart. It's two very extremely long wicks to the upside. That's beautiful. It's just did me dirty. It just did me dirty, and I'm in them, and I'm falling from all. I'm in them from falling from all. Mm. You know what I love? I love, and this is the most heart-wrenching, embarrassing part about this, is that I start the day off talking about all of the stuff about being patient and not falling for it, right? I'm gonna be patient and I'm not gonna fall for it, and I'm not gonna this and I'm not gonna that. And then, you know, face the reality that, I got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of work to do. So as far as scalping opportunities, I'm doing very well. Trying to get long off of the midnight opening price would have delivered very well. Trying to right when once you touch the midnight opening price right here, staying in it through this entire run to the upside, doing very well. Um, with this sort of areas where price should and sometimes have continued for nicer moves, except now Um, we're watching as we drop back into this gap on the 15 minute. It's also a gap on the hourly chart, but it's more of a gap on the 15-minute chart. We just turned over and kind of came back into that area. So right now I feel like flustered and I feel overwhelmed and I feel um all types of emotional responses to new 5 minute candle. Turned over, popped up a little bit. How high do you think we would move up at this point? You think we would just dump at this guy at this point right here? Because we dropped down below all of this and then we closed down here. We put a wick into the wick of this down closed candle. So I see that, right? That's not unseen. Then we turn over, we come up here at relative equal highs and sort of a gap on the lower time frame. Excuse me. 10 seconds left in the 1 minute candle. Um, everybody says, no, too early. Everybody says, no, 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 too early. Why are they screaming no too early? Because of that tiny little imbalance, this tiny little imbalance right here on the 5 second chart. That's why they're screaming no too early. See, it's here. I don't know why that's tripping. That shouldn't even be there anymore. My stop was partially filled. Oh, it's filled. I'm down $1,600. But what I was talking about was this area where it's sort of this porous price right here. Thinking, yeah, we're gonna run up here, hit that, then turn over. Doo doot. Doo doot. Doo 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 doo. Drop down. Trade back up. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, it's starting to do it now. Yep, it's starting to do that thing. All right, let me take this $200. Whatever. I'm just gonna leave my stop loss up here. I don't care. I jacked around with it like 15 times. Um, yeah, because of the consolidatory nature of price right now, I would just move back and forth. I'm done for the day. I mean, of course, I'm done for the day because I did a lot of damage to my account at this point. But it's to the high of the sub close candle. I'm supposed to just sell this and buy this order right here. And people would say, why do you think that? Why would you 130, 135, 160? You see how it goes 200, 235, and then turns directions? That's because it's trading down in like a consistent range before it turns over and comes back up. Except problem is, right? Except the problem is that this is low and this is lower, right? These lows are lower. And then, you're saying, well, Grady, you need to look at something. You need to look at something that you don't see. I'm like, yeah, but I'm looking for that. I'm looking for whatever that is, but it's just lower and then it's lower. Now we drop down to the low of this on the lower time frame, which is much too low to use as a bellwether. This just is one of those days where if I see 200, I have to take it. And that's just the truth. And I don't want it to be true. I don't want it to be true. I don't want the market to be like, look, Grady, I'm giving you a signal, buddy. I'm gonna drop down a few ticks. And every time I drop down, I'm gonna give you a couple of $100. But then going to do something else. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, six, five, four, three, two, one. It didn't close below the prior down close candle. I'm looking right here for us to move down below the prior down close candle. All right, so we touched that price, which is the midnight open. We touched it one more time. And now that we've touched that price, I'm just gonna come right back down here and I'm gonna go to break even. If we don't go down below the midnight opening price and really start to address it from below, right? Because where are we back at this level where we have the midnight open and then again we are touching it multiple times. Okay, we slid down below it just a little bit. And Mr. Break Even over here is now got his hands clasped again. Once again, has his hands clasped once again. So now that we have a halfway decent profit on a trade, now I'm thinking, did we just drop down into to a lower level to hit a gap so that we could trade off that gap and pop back to the upside aggressively and just run me out? Or have we finally are we finally going to invert this gap that we just traded above that created this midnight scenario, and now we're moving back down to a lower level. I know for sure that if we hit 1,000, I have to take it. I know for sure that if we hit 1,000, I have to take it, regardless. If we blow past 1,000, then I'm gonna move to 1,000. I'll move my stop loss to 1,000. Grady, is that big profit? Nope, it's not big profit. It's not big profit. It's not what you're thinking. It's more along the lines of um, let's see if we can get to Asia's low, right? That's my overall goal at this point. Can we get to Asia's low? And then look, we're finally here, $1,000 drawdown after all of that. Bringing us to the brink again. Day one of the combine just brought us to the brink. It's 10:35. Price drops in just like I described because boom, we turned over, and I'm not sure what this imbalance represents again. And me not marking or labeling these things. We gotta work on that. Gotta work on it or what it represents. I like how we hit the consequent encroachment of it and then moved away. Sometimes that's a very powerful signal that we would be continuing in that same direction. Sometimes when you could hit the consequent encroachment, move away from it, move back to it, and then it's a signal that that we are drawing to that point and that we just did not have enough to get there. Question really should be asked. Well, Grady, what if we're just consolidating, right? If this is just a consolidation and we just see how we just came right back to the consequent encroachment. All right, that's all I need to see is a little bit of a move back down, and then I am out of this trade because it's coming back to the upside. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes on it. Keep your eyes on it. We hit consequent encroachment with the same imbalance twice. What? We're coming back to the upside. And you're saying to yourself, well, Grady, why didn't you just get out? Because you just can't when it's this difficult to get in on a particular trade, when it's difficult to get in, and we put all of these wicks after the news and we ran to particular levels and then we dropped back in and we did all that sort of stuff. It is so difficult to stay in these types of trades when you aren't, see, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. There's the low of this up close 5-minute candle. We come all the way back in. And if we were bearish, this would be enough to keep price down. If we were bearish, this is enough to keep price down. Now that we've seen this move down to this level and how it turned over on the higher time frame, the 15-minute chart, and we saw that we dropped all the way back, we ran all the way down. Well, number one, we had this long wick to the upside on the 15. We had this long wick to the upside on the 15-minute chart. Then we turned over and we dropped this far down, the same 15-minute chart. Then we see that we have a problem. Yep, we have a problem. 6 minutes left in this 15, and we're back all the way to this level. We dropped down. We took out this low. We took out this low. Relative equal lows down here into the wick of this down close candle. And we popped all the way back up. I'm not good enough to trade something like this. All right. So that's gonna be it. And you look, negative self-talk is one thing. Negative self-talk, I get that, right? But then you have to obviously look at it and say, look, look at what options that we are given here, right? Look at all of the options that we're given here. I'm looking at this imbalance. We traded above this. We traded to this up close candle. We rolled over and we went down. After we went down and we took out this low, Then we had these intermediate highs. We move above it, trade it back down to it, and then we move higher. When we had an opportunity to close above this high or these highs, we don't do it. We gap up, we run very high up, and then we just hit the low of this candle, hit the wick low of this candle, trade into the wick of this candle, turn over, drop back in. Then, after we've done all that, drop to the 5 minute candle. Then, after we've done all that, then we return from moving down, closing below this candle, close below this, dropped all the way down here. We close below this one, close below this candle, right? So, is that market structure shift? No, 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 no. You're thinking the market structure shift in the wrong way. Well, we came up here to this small imbalance above this level, and we closed. See, and on the 5 minute candle, we closed inside of this gap with this tiny little imbalance, and we don't close above this up close candle, right? We just put these bodies here to close of this up close candle, and then we move down, we move up to this up close candle, and then we move down, and then we move back up. So on a day like today, it's it's not a good place to trade today. If you wanted to make yourself maybe 100, $200 at a time, that was fine. If you got in right off the open at this low down here where I said, oh, then you probably did well if you exited above this high. But through all of this back and forth, you're probably struggling like I'm struggling. And I am sorry to see that happen to you guys. But this is the reason why trading is so risky. Trading is so risky because price action is going to do what price action needs to do in order to offer fair value to the market. And so this is trading entertainment. Be careful out there. Um, trade your own book and um and lose lose less often than I do. I got that from Zizra. Let's see here. So thank you guys for mm, checking this out. If you have an opportunity to check this out in the future, like and subscribe. Please support this channel. This is a very difficult thing to do live and before everybody. It's a very difficult thing for anybody to do live trading because there's so many elements of the psychological struggle to deal with your entries and exits, and it's just it's just one of those things where if you decided to ever do it yourself, you would really understand how it takes a different type of person to be successful at this. So have a good day. And we'll check you right back here tomorrow. Bye bye.